I was originally going to make a video specifically talking about the debate performance with Trump, Joe Biden. Forgive me, I have a sore throat. Um, but considering the breaking news that just came on about a day ago with President Trump having COVID, I'm going to be combining both topics. So first of all, with the presidential debate, it was a mess. It was 100% a mess. And let's just talk about the elephant in the room, Chris Wallace. Ugh, he just had. I don't think he was even trying to moderate the debate. I'm not saying specifically about his uh bias as well as covering Joe Biden at times. Although I will get into that, but also also just allowing the whole debate just within the first 20 minutes to just go to different places, not returning to this specific point. In fact, in the first minute, it talked about the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, with Amy Coney Barrett becoming the nominee, and over the whole legitimacy behind it, yada yada yada. But then it started to go on with healthcare and abortion and all around. It's just and then but and Chris Wallace could not even get back to the original topic at hand. He just specifically went with the flow, and that's not honestly that's not how a moderator should do a debate. It should be, here's a specific point, let's talk about it, or let's debate about it, and then we can move on to another subject once we run out of time and stuff. That didn't happen. He just basically went with the flow. And it was a mess. It was an uncoordinated mess. Now onto also with the other issue with Chris Wallace. He basically covered Joe Biden. In fact, the only time when I saw in the debate that he actually called out Joe Biden was over the COVID science, over Kamala Harris and Joe Biden not trusting the COVID scientists, as well as Trump over the possible vaccine. That was the only time. That was the only time where he actually where Joe Biden was actually called out. In fact, he was more debating Donald Trump. And you want to know the funny thing is? Yeah, he definitely seemed like the third debater. Although I'm not really surprised considering how much the mainstream media has been particularly biased towards Joe Biden and since the beginning of his presidency against Donald Trump. Even with even at times with Fox News, and this is coming from a man who views them a lot of the time. Although I definitely look at other sources as well who happen to have different viewpoints as I do. It was a mess. And now let's look at the specific candidates. Joe Biden. Joe Biden clearly lost. He clearly lost the debate. Was it as bad of a debate as I thought? No. Because in honesty, Donald Trump made a few mistakes, and I will get into those pretty soon. But Joe Biden just basically, he didn't have that energy. He sounded very sick. He looked sick. He looked confused. And he couldn't even answer several questions. For example, there was a question from Chris Wallace over the packing of the Supreme Court. Instead of going and talking or answering that question, he just went, "Oh, that's a topic for another time once I'm in office, and oh, you should go and vote for me." But Donald Trump continually tried to press him on this, and he was like, "Will you shut up, man?" You know, it's how ironic for Joe Biden to actually lash out like that and to be pretty much rude, despite the fact that he has tried to attack President Trump for not being presidential. I mean, it's Donald Trump did the same thing, but it's already been honestly part of his personality and part of the reason why a lot of people have actually elected him. It's just the way he is. And Joe Biden just basically, yeah, he lost it. Now with Donald Trump, what are my critiques about him? Well, he interrupted Joe Biden too much. It's more of a double-edged sword, because he was definitely going after Joe Biden at very serious points, but he was going after him a little too much, but interrupting him, in I think most of the time when he was trying to answer questions, or at least possibly answer questions. I mean, let's take a look at the package of the Supreme Court question that I just mentioned, if you want to recall that. But anyways, and yeah, he, in that instance, he was definitely being rude. But like I said before, this is Donald Trump we're talking about. We've already seen 4 years of him doing this stuff. So, in all honesty, I definitely believe that the interruption and being rude is definitely a double-edged sword, because it definitely exemplifies Donald Trump's personality, as well as attacking the establishment and going hardcore against people like Joe Biden and Chris Wallace, which further emphasizes his message about attacking the establishment. But at the same time, it does not. It cannot exactly come off in the best way, if you know what I mean. But nonetheless, considering that we've seen him do this throughout his presidency, I don't think this is really too much of a big deal. I definitely believe Donald Trump won the debate, but it was not a decisive victory. The reason why I say that is because of two major things. One, Chris Wallace continually helped with Joe Biden, so that's a major issue, which honestly I do not believe is going to be rectified in the next debate. Number two, it was chaotic, and there is no way that you can have a truly decisive victory when it's all chaotic. But and plus, at the same time, I've been hearing a little bit of this criticism from a lot of people that neither side, both were pretty backhanded to them, and neither side really saw them actually pitching an argument on whether or not they should vote for either Trump or Biden. Here's my opinion on that. I don't believe Trump was specifically going to, at least in the first debate. What he's doing is something similar to what Sun Tzu says in The Art of War, which is basically attack where he's weakest and try to defend on your strong points. That's what I think he was trying to do. He was trying to probe Joe Biden, tried to push his buttons to see what would happen. And even in the case with Chris Wallace, he was trying to do the same thing. And he was trying to see what they would do within the debate, so that way he can plan out within the town hall. I think in the second debate, that's where the decisive victory, the true call for Trump to get to the undecided voters truly happens. I think that's when Joe Biden is immediately crushed, because considering the setup, it's a town hall. It's kind of theatric with Trump. He definitely loves to be a little bit theatric, as well as having that bullish personality. He goes after Joe Biden. He makes a page to the undecided voters, and as he defeats Joe Biden at every single point, at every single argument, the entire audience just sees that Joe Biden is not capable of running this country. It's kind of like with the second debate back in 2016 between Trump and Hillary Clinton, where I bet everyone remembers where Donald Trump's retort of "because you would be in jail," and everyone was like, "Oh snap!" Oh, sorry. I believe that's when he actually won the presidency and how he decisively crushed Hillary Clinton at that time. And I believe that's the same thing that's going to be happening here. But that only depends on but that's just how what I think might happen in terms of probably the second debate. Overall, I believe Donald Trump won this first debate. Not a decisive victory, but pretty good advantage so far. And we'll just have to wait and see. Now, I have also seen what his announcement about having contracted COVID-19 along with Melania Trump, the first lady. They have since for the past 24 hours been quarantined in Walter Reed Medical Center. I wish them both luck, and I hope they definitely attack this virus. Although, thankfully, I have actually seen his statements that he's doing way better. Way better. However, I must admit that the entire fact that he has COVID-19, or the announcement that he has had COVID-19 has not really garnered a pretty good reception on Twitter, which I call it the shithole of the internet. There's many places where on the internet where you find the scum of the earth, the dark web, and a lot of other places. But Twitter, with the far left having such a major domination over Twitter, basically is calling this karma, and basically supporting the death of the president. Here's the thing. There's a reason why people do not like these leftists. There's a major reason. It's that's because they wish for death. They wish for control. Thanks to what's been going on with Twitter, they're just further laying the mask clip more a lot of the time. And I'm not just, and they've been doing this pretty constantly for the last 4 years. With the establishment of Antifa, the riots as a result of George Floyd, the tearing down of statues, etc. You could just go on and on and on. And yet, they're shouting with joy over the death of the president. Over the possible death of the president. I do not believe that anyone in their right mind should support the death of anyone. No matter what bad things they do. I believe in giving people justice. But wishing for their death is another thing. And yet these leftists on Twitter are basically, thanks to the fact that Donald Trump basically is in opposition of them and basically does not support their agenda or even like the idea of them just going rampant all over the place as we've seen for the last few months. They just celebrate this. Unbelievable. Again, I do not believe in I do not believe in calling for someone else's other person's death. And I know that there have been a few people on the right who've actually done that in the past, and I condemn those people 100%. I've been hearing a lot of people say that specifically that right wingers attack Obama, and again, like I said before, I condemn such things. I didn't like Obama. I think it was a bad president and subverted the Constitution. But he was our president. We elected him, and all I wanted to do was put him out of office. Yet, These guys refuse to look in the mirror. They refuse to be held accountable for their own actions. Bunch of hypocrites. Freaking hypocrites. And that's why I cannot support these people. I honestly hope they get their comeuppance. Not in the way of death. No, absolutely not. Like I said before, this is the third time I stated it. I do not believe in calling for someone else's death. The only time where you should actually have any violence involved whatsoever is in self-defense. That's it. But in terms of them calling for the president's death, what I think the comeuppance should be that that President Trump should turn out fine, and further showing that the mask they have is exposed, and that people will see the BS that they have been spewing. Because how could you allow these people on your own side to say this stuff? I believe in freedom of speech, but there's a fine line of whether or not you should say something just being decent or appropriate. But apparently, in the case of these leftists or even a few SJWs, rules for thee, but not for me. And this is why I hate these people. Double standards. I pray that President Donald Trump that does recover from this virus pretty soon. I know he's overweight. It's within that demographic of being at risk. And I hope Melania Trump is also doing fine as well. I pray they defeat this virus, and before the debate, before the election, they come out and have a 100% recovery. My name is Nomi Hand on the Arc Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, if you have any issues regarding my videos, such as how I frame stuff, or video quality, or my speeches, or anything whatsoever, please post them down in the comment section down below, or directly message me. Thank you.
Almost heaven.